Words with Naba'a Richard Muhammad and
Brother B.J. Murphy.
And we are black, strong, and unapologetically pro-Farrakhan.
Hey, Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
The views expressed on our programs are not necessarily those of WVON, Midway Broadcasting Corporation, or our participating sponsors.
The following is paid programming. The views are not necessarily those of this station. We are the talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Brothers and sisters, we are back. 1690 WVON, the talk of Chicago. Straight words every Tuesday night from 9 p.m. until midnight. Brother Naba'a Richard Muhammad, Brother James G. Muhammad, yours truly, Brother BJ. We are here for another hour. We got a powerful, powerful guest coming up. Nation of Islam Southwest Regional Minister, Brother Abdul Haleem Muhammad, is going to speak to us tonight. You can get on the phone line, too, and join the conversation a little later on in the hour, 773-591-1690, 773-591-1690. And don't forget, you can go to StraightWords.com, and find out how you can support our show financially and check out all the content. So, Brother Naba'a, Brother James G., let's get into this powerful hour, brother.
Yes, sir.
Be ready.
Brother Naba'a, is Naba'a there?
Okay, I think he's not. I think he took a break for a minute.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Do we have
yes, sir.
Do we have callers holding still? I thought we had a couple.
Okay, Joe's on.
Yeah. All right, let's bring Joe in here.
Joe, you on WVON? Go ahead and talk to us, big brother.
What's up, homeboy?
How you doing, bro?
What's up, Joe?
All right. Hey, what's going on? Hey, man, listen, brother. Now, with this immune campaign, there's some serious stuff out here, man. With this immune, man. If this man get back in there, man, like he might even not be in the United States anymore, man. This guy's a stone. Wait a minute, this guy's a stone maniac, man.
Yeah. And what would that mean if
then with this 2025, a lot of these brothers don't know what 2025 is. You actually say, brother, I talked to a brother today. I said, man, you know, think about this 2025. This is it. So what they tell me, what is that? We too misinformed, man. We don't have no knowledge on nothing, man.
Yeah.
You
right? That's what I'm saying. And dig this here. Now listen, brother, Now dig this. Now, if this man lose, don't think these huskies gonna tear this up. Don't think huskies gonna clown out in these streets. You seen what they did January the 6th? Because they so sure he gonna win now. Because Biden didn't look good in debate and everything. You understand? Now they so sure he's gonna win. But you can believe me, 9 out of 10, Biden gonna beat him, and these folks white folks gonna pitch a fit, man.
Yeah,
that's real talk.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Thank you. Do we have anybody else? Do we have Abdul, or did we miss him?
No, sir. Yeah, we got Brother Abdul. We got him on.
Yeah, let's bring him in.
All right, we got our our Southwest Regional Minister of the Nation of Islam, the great Brother Abdul Haleem Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, big brother. How you doing?
Wa alaikum salam. How you doing, Brother BJ, Brother James, Brother Naba'a?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, sir. We're doing well.
Abdul Haleem Muhammad, Brother Haleem, thank you for joining us tonight. You know, Brother Haleem, I've already heard the firecrackers, man. They're starting already. And as our people celebrate the 4th of July. But Frederick Douglass did a major, serious, and insightful speech when we were still in slavery. He spoke in Rochester, New York, where he was asked to be the speaker at a July 4th presentation. And he asked, what to the slaves at the 4th of July? So, Brother Abdul Haleem Muhammad, Southwest Region out of Houston, whose independence should we be talking about And are we really still celebrating the 4th of July as black folk? I know we all want a day off, but I'm just saying, beyond that, we waving flags or we just barbecuing. So whose independence should we be talking about?
All praises due to Allah. Thank you for the question, brother. First of all, thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for allowing me to represent him in this city for the last 37 years. Yesterday began my 37th year serving as the student minister here in Houston, Texas, and I want to thank him. I want to thank the Executive Council for their stewardship over the Nation of Islam as we must now go through a period of transition because there's an old world going out and there's a new world coming in, and as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us.
Right.
To answer your question directly, brother, whose independence? We are celebrating the coming of the great Mahdi, Master Fard Muhammad Allah in person, who came and made himself known, or appeared, I should say, on July 4th, 1930. And he declared our independence on that day, which was set aside for America's Declaration of Independence. And I know we're going to get it off into, I love what brother was saying on the prior to me coming on, but I would ask him to really not panic, because regardless of who sits in that White House, America is unraveling right in front of our eyes.
That's right.
And we have to understand that the reason why she's unraveling is because she has never addressed what Frederick Douglass was addressing in Rochester, New York, at the 4th of July. We're still enslaved. Unfortunately, we just don't seem to know it.
Right.
We just celebrated Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a holiday that has been declared, I should say, a national holiday. That really, I'm here in Texas, and if you don't know the history of Texas, then you don't understand why Juneteenth is relevant. The Emancipation Proclamation was actually to go into effect on January 1863. But the enslaved Africans were not freed in the state of Texas until June 19th, 1865. So they were enslaved for an extra 2.5 years. It's not that they didn't know that they were free. It's just that Texas had never been invaded by the Union. And so they were free then, and that's why they call it Juneteenth, or our Independence Day, if you will. But emancipation means to be freed from their hands, but not their control.
Right.
And right now we're having a discussion that really, it bothers me that we're being, they say it's a choice of democracy. America never was a democracy. I'll say that again. America was never a democracy. A democracy would mean the people rule. The people don't rule America, and it never was meant that. The 74 white male property owners that were invited to the Constitutional Convention, the 55 that showed up, the 39 who eventually signed, and the 3 or 4 who stayed through the whole convention but refused to sign it. You know, there's so much history that we don't know. But I can say that this, with all the confidence in the world, we're not trying to save democracy. What we're trying to preserve is what is developed is an oligarchy.
Yeah.
This is the rule of the rich. You look at the Chevron decision that took place in the Supreme Court,
right,
where they basically rolled back the regulatory authority of the federal government, while at the same time they gave the President of the United States immunity in his official acts. Let me state for the record. What they did was they gave Mr. Biden or Mr. Trump a green light to come after the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Period.
Yeah, exactly.
As an official act. because all of the mechanisms are in place for that, and we're obviously seeing the power of the Zionist lobby.
Yeah.
In terms of putting $20 million into a primary to defeat Jamal Bowman there in New York. Bowman in New York, and it wasn't just AIPAC. You have to understand they redrew his district 2 years ago, and it really was white suburban Democrats that did him in. So we really don't have a friend in either party.
Exactly.
Who's independents? It's certainly not our independence, except for we understand the coming of Master Fard Muhammad, the raising of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in our midst. He is the Ezekiel, the Son of Man, found in the 37th chapter of Ezekiel that is prophesied to the winds. And those winds are blowing. And now we have to stand up an exceedingly great army. If you just go through from 2020 to right now, the major speeches that the minister has given, Unraveling of a Great Nation, 2020. Right. We're watching the unraveling of this great nation right now.
Exactly. Right.
Jesus is the key. Jesus is the key, which was Savior's Day Part 2. The criterion, an announcement for the world. The swan song. The war of Armageddon has begun. And what did Allah, the great Mahdi, and the great Messiah say about the war in the Middle East? If you go through those speeches, you'll find a consistent theme of the minister saying to America that you have to pay for what you did in enslaving us. You have to pay for what you did in killing the Native Americans. You have to pay for what you did even to your own poor white people.
Yeah.
There's a price to pay. And I say that what George Mason said. George Mason was one of those who stayed through the whole Constitutional Convention in 1787, and he never signed. He refused to sign it because he did not trust a centralized government with the power that had been given during that convention. But he said in so many words, God does not punish nations in the hereafter. He punishes them now. And he says that national sins bring about national calamities. This was his speech during the Constitutional Convention, warning them about the further importation of slaves. See, they made two major compromises that saved the Constitutional Convention, and both of those compromises were based upon us. The New Jersey plan and the Virginia plan. The New Jersey plan and the Virginia plan. The large states supported the New Jersey plan. The small states supported the Virginia plan for apportionment and representation. And the large states, it was a Connecticut compromise by Roger Sherman who brought these two plans together, and that's why we have a bicameral legislature. That's why we have a Senate and we have a House. House of Representatives is based upon proportional representation, but the Senate is likened to the House of Lords. The Senate is indeed the same Senate that they had in the Republic, which Rome was a republic before it was an empire. And so now you have a state with the least amount of population like Montana having the same equal power as the state of California, the state of New York, or the state of Illinois, man. And one senator can gum up the whole works, as we saw with Tommy Tuberville of Alabama when it came to the defense authorization bill based upon his opposition. So whose independence? It's our independence if we would wake up and understand that this thing is unraveling, and only a fool would fight in a burning house. Now, I'm not here to tell you don't vote. But I am here to tell you that you need to understand the whole process of what it is that you're voting for and who you're voting for. And if you want I'm not even talking about the lesser of two evils. I don't even want to get into that. Look at this. This thing is about money. Since Citizens United decision was decided by the Supreme Court, this whole thing is about money. And you see, corporate America has bought. We got the best Congress that money can buy.
Exactly.
How you put $20 million into a primary? For God's sake, people, wake up. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan taught us long ago, politics without economics is symbol without substance. Yes, our politicians come to us for the vote, but they go downtown for their money. And he who pays the piper calls the tune.
Right.
Yes. Oh, they're going to tell you to vote. Our people died for the right to vote. Yeah, our people died for a lot of stuff. Dude. Our people died for being accused of wolf whistling a white woman in the case of Emmett Till.
Or wanting to eat at the lunch counter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for not stepping off the sidewalk when a white person came by. For looking for reckless eyeballing. You know, for having a business, for questioning a white merchant who was trying to gyp us out of our money. We died for a lot of stuff. We died for no damn reason whatsoever. Don't tell me just we vote because we died. We died for a lot of stuff. If we're going to vote, you need to know who you're voting for and why you're voting for. And then most of all, understand what Tip O'Neill said, that all politics is local.
Mm-hmm.
If we understand the Democrats have been winning the national election all along for the last few years, with exception how Trump stumbled in there in 2016.
Yeah.
But the Democrats have been pretty much running the table on the national election. But the Republicans have been going down, and through ALEC, which is this American Legislative Council, they've been working on state legislatures, city councils, water boards, school districts. They've been digging down, and so now everything you're looking around and you're seeing this thing being dismantled right in front of your eyes. America is not a democracy, WVON listening audience. America is a republic. The founding fathers of this country studied the classics of Greek and Roman republics. They did not believe in democracy. That's why you have an electoral college. Wake up, man. What are you talking about? Democracy. What democracy? You got a Supreme Court. You got a Supreme Court that gutted the Voting Rights Act. Didn't the Honorable Elijah Muhammad write message black man put the Muslim program in the Congress? Did he not say that the Civil Rights Act would not stand regardless of who was the president? So you and I can still get shot down the street. Where is our George Floyd Police Reform Act?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm listening. Where is it? What did we march in the street for? Not only black, white, brown, red, yellow, young, old. This was a global movement. They stood up an exceedingly great army across the planet for George Floyd. Where is the George Floyd Police Reform Act? Where is the great, and I met him, man. God bless him. My Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee here in Houston, and I want everybody to keep her in your prayers, please, as she is being treated for pancreatic cancer. Please keep her in your prayers. She's been a friend of the nation, and to keep all politics aside, to me, she's always been a wonderful helper in this city, and I don't care what anybody has to say about her. I'll argue the politics, whether I agreed or disagreed with certain policies she went with. Is irrelevant. Her health is most important to me. So let me go back to this point. So when you look at it, man, I lost my train of thought. I got caught up. What was I saying before Sheila Jackson Lee?
You were just preaching, brother. That's what you were.
No, you had walked us. You were talking about
Manchin. I mean, not Manchin.
You were talking about the Republicans. You were talking about you were talking about the Republicans, while the Democrats have been winning national political elections. The Republicans, as Tip O'Neill said, all politics is local. They have been steadily drilling down and making changes at the state and the local level, right? You talked about that, and then you asked the question, where is our George Floyd police reform bill? That's federal. And where is our John Lewis Voting Rights Act? Also federal.
There you go.
Kill, by the way, brother. Kill, by the way. Yeah. He was killed by the. Let me say this real quick, brother. Brother Haleem, because it goes back to what you said. Both of those ostensibly killed by one man in the Senate.
One man.
Joe Manchin out of West Virginia. Go ahead, Brother Haleem.
So again, I'm asked that question, and I said that through Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who had me to be her special guest at the State of the Union when Barack Obama was president. See, and I met John Lewis, and I was honored to meet him. He was supposed to be the conscience of the Congress, and they gave all kind of tributes to him when he passed away. But where is the John Lewis Voting Rights Act? Brother and sister, wake up. If we were truly citizens, according to the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, would we need a Voters' Rights Act?
Right.
If the 15th Amendment gave us the right to vote, why do we need a Voters' Rights Act if we are truly full citizens?
Right.
I mean, come on, y'all. Now, I've traveled around the world, and I thank Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, as you have too, Naba'a and James. We've traveled different places around the world, and we know that America is a very special nation. We know that, brother. There are things that we enjoy in this country that we will get shot for saying on their airwaves overseas. We know that.
Exactly.
So all of you out there, all of you flag pin patriots. See, real patriotism is not my country right or wrong, love or leave her. Real patriotism is my country, when she's right, keep her right. When she's wrong, make her right. That's real patriotism.
Exactly.
So the greatest patriot among us today is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because he's speaking truth to power. And if they would have followed what he wrote for them 31 years ago in the Torchlight for America, America wouldn't be where she is right now. She is paying she's paying more interest on the national debt than she has set aside in the national defense budget. I want you to think about this. We're paying the Federal Reserve interest for money that we borrowed to give arms to Israel.
Right.
I want you to think about that. We are borrowing money from the very people we're paying interest for, and we're borrowing money to give them weapons to kill the Palestinians. Oh, snaps. I'm talking about, brothers and sisters. Look, I'm not an anti-Semite. You're not going to hang that on me. I don't care what you say. I do not hate Jewish people. We do not hate Jewish people. But there's a difference between Zionism, this political ideology, and Judaism, which is a religion, and the state of Israel, and the state of Israel. And if you don't have discernment, if you don't know the difference between these young Jewish people who are out there protesting on the campus, do you know most of those campus protests were led by Jewish people, and yet they were called anti-Semites? Do you know the Anti-Defamation League conflated almost 25% of their so-called anti-Semitic acts? They conflated it into a report, and most of them were the pro-Palestinian, anti-war, ceasefire protests that were taking place that they conflated in their report so that they could look about how there's a rise in anti-Semitism, and that's why Wikipedia said they're unreliable. Damn, when Wikipedia says you're unreliable, you know you done messed up.
You really got a problem. Brother Haleem, we got a couple callers. Let's bring them into the conversation, but don't lose your point now. Let's bring them in, brother.
All right. You're on the line, Brother Charles. You're on WVON, but Brother Dr. Regional Minister Abdul Haleem Muhammad out of Houston, Texas. We talk about Independence Day. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, Brother Charles.
Shalom for having me on. I see a lot that the brother is saying is so true. And, you know, the main thing what hurts these people, they don't care about how much money so-called black people get. It's the truth that hurts them. And the truth is going to come like a sharp-edged sword on them. And what's happening is this knowledge is power, wisdom, discernment, all these things. Because, look, you have a left wing and a right wing. Somebody tell me, where's the body at? The two wings can't operate without a body. You know what I'm saying? So these people are together. The thing is like the brother said, they tricking you to vote for the better or the worse. No. We rely on Yahuwah or whatever you all call him. We call him Yahuwah, and his son is Yahushua HaMashiach. So this is who we rely on, because Babylon is showing itself again. It's here already. They're trying to start the one world system, and what they do is they come get the greatest of your people, our people, ride behind them, take our inventions, do all these things, and try to put us down. Why? Because you're the only one that's going to speak out. Everybody else benefits from the system. Hispanics, they come in, they benefit from the system. Native Americans getting reparations. The Jewish people, I don't even want to say it on the radio, but they get reparations. Everybody. Somebody has to ask this one question, though. Why is everybody, all of their enemies, able to come here, make all this money, go back home, and create bombs? But we've been here for 400 years, and they put their foot on us harder than they do anybody else. That's because they know who we are. And this is the secret. And this is the secret that they have to pay for, because every time that the Father allowed us to go into slavery or whatever it is, we cry back out to him, and guess what he does? He comes, saves us, and he punishes those nations. And this is why they are trying to keep us from understanding. They don't want us to wake up. They want you to stay asleep, because when you wake up out your sleep and try to hold your arms, your grip isn't firm enough. So these are the things that they doing to us. And I just want to say another thing. Yahuwah is showing us throughout the scriptures everything is inside out. We are being defeated inside out. This country is being defeated inside out. Our community is being defeated inside out. Something has to come in to affect it, and then it causes the poison from inside, and then it brings it down. You know what I'm saying? Yes, so here's another thing. Khalid Muhammad. I know the brother dead. Look. I believe in Torah. I believe in the New Testament. I believe in all that. But here's the thing. Yah gives whoever he wants to give knowledge to and show them and do things. He has no respect of man. And when Khalid Muhammad said the power, we can see the existence of the Father in the electrical system. Ever since he said that, every time I hear this and I think about his name, it makes me cry, because I took up electricity. I can see the Father as a power plant, Yahushua is the transformer, and we are the house that receives this power from that and go there, right?
Yeah, that's beautiful, brother. Beautiful, brother. Let's let Abdul Haleem answer that question, brother.
That was a beautiful analogy that brother gave us.
Yes, sir.
You know, in our train of thought, Brother James, the Minister Farrakhan is the lead wire.
Yeah, exactly.
That's feeding us right now, brother. And if we clean up, as he says, as the Honorable Elijah said, in that day our righteousness will sustain us. So we have to be right, because wherever the minister's going, wherever the minister's going, he's going to feed us from there. We have his words. We will never be without Minister Farrakhan. Minister Farrakhan has spoken billions of words. We have his words. We don't have to worry about reliable hadith. All we got to do is push a button, and we can listen to the minister again and again.
FinalCallRadio.com.
FinalCallRadio.com. As long as we got noimedia.org. Hey, as long as we got Final Call products, I don't give a skip what these people say or do. They can have their platforms as far as I'm concerned. And I'm asking everybody to make sure they support this radio show, Straight Talk. Support it, brothers and sisters. You know, there's one thing we got to understand, and I love my brothers. You know, it doesn't matter to me. You know, it's like this. You don't have to believe what we believe, but I want you to listen to me, Brother James, Brother Naba'a, Brother B.J. Murphy, and you better understand that the only thing that really you must do is believe that we believe what we believe. And if believe that we believe it, and it may be incongruent with what you believe, and we sound rational, responsible, reasonable, sane, sober, serious, then ask yourself the question, maybe I should listen to them. This isn't a debate, brothers and sisters. I don't debate. I engage in dialogue. Because I want to learn from you. As my teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, every man is my teacher. Every caller that calls in is my teacher. But I've got a point of view, and you need to listen to me, because if every man is my teacher, every woman is my teacher, then guess what? Every man and woman is your teacher. And I have something to offer you from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as taught and demonstrated by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I love what Brother said about, you know, we got to understand code words like anti-woke, being against anti-CRT, critical race theory, and anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion. All of that is anti-black. Woke is our language. That's how we talk. You don't hear no Caucasian talk about, hey, I'm woke. They don't talk like that. Hey, I'm awake. But why don't they want to be? They don't even talk like that. Critical race theory is something they teach in law school, man. They don't teach that. What they're saying is we don't want you teaching black history. That's really what that boils down to. When you start talking about elementary school, middle school, high school, colleges, and you stop making African American or black history courses, they're no longer what do you call that? When you advance, when you're trying to get advanced placement or you know, they don't make that anymore in high school. And then DEI. When did DEI become popular, and when did the corporates start pledging billions of dollars? Which went after George Floyd's murder, and we damn near tore up this country. That's when they started. And then now there's a pushback. We have to understand. There's a professor named Pioneer Joseph, and our good brother Reverend out of North Carolina. His name escapes me right now. It'll come to me. The Moral Monday.
Oh Barber.
Barber. Reverend Barber.
Reverend Barber, our great preacher. They say we're in the third Reconstruction. Well, then we need to ask the question: what the hell happened after the first two? Well, really. We had 12 years of a semblance of prosperity, right? And then we got sold out at the Wormley Hotel on February 26, 1877. And as the physics says, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. It is the birth anniversary of Master Fard Muhammad. I'll leave it right there. And then they cut the deal so that Rutherford B. Hayes could become the 19th president of the United States. And then they withdraw the federal troops. So we had 4 Reconstruction presidents. 4. After that, the first 16 presidents of the United States, we were enslaved. Come on, who's independent? Come on. Then after that, we had Jim Crow all the way up to Lyndon Baines Johnson. Think over that. Right? Then we had what you would call the Civil Rights Movement, and then you would have that would be considered the second Reconstruction. Now they argue that the third Reconstruction is the election of Barack Obama. Well, then now we got a pushback. That looks like we're going into the fourth Reconstruction, if you ask me. At what point in time do we sit down and say, hey, let's have a discussion about the Muslim program, what the Muslim want, what the Muslim believe? And since the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said put the Muslim program to Congress, when are we going to have a conversation on how we translate those principles that are in the wants and beliefs into legislative language? What would that look like? What entities will we have to mobilize, and what will we have to do internally as a people? What the Honorable Elijah Muhammad built for us in Chicago and around this country was only a blueprint for the whole black nation. It wasn't just for the Muslims. It was for all of us. So,
Brother Minister, you got the phone lines lit. We're going to go to a couple more calls.
Well, come on. I'm sorry.
All right, come on, y'all. WVON 1690. You're on Straight Words with Brother Abdul Haleem Muhammad. Go right ahead.
How you doing?
Brother Michael, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Good. How you doing?
Doing fine, sir.
I think we are, this is our opportunity right now to stop talking and demand some action. And the Supreme Court just handed it to us. If they just told the president he can do what he wants. And if he wants our vote, he has to give us reparations. He has to let those brothers out of prison. He has to make sure everybody's going to vote. He has to make sure that the justice system works for everybody. And if he does not promise that before it's time to vote, then he's not going to get my vote. And personally, I've watched the far right Evangelical voice, and there is no such thing as far as I'm concerned. Now, people can say what they want about Christianity, and I am a Christian, brothers, but I know what the Bible says, and you shall know them by their fruit. And anyone that can say we don't have to repent from slavery, we don't owe any kind of reparations, I would love to argue with them, especially on a public forum, because they're not repenting from those sins. In fact, they are getting ready to turn back that clock. They are already removing your rights to read what you want, to learn what you want, to be treated like a man, to have common with fairness and equalness, which we have not seen in the courtrooms. We don't see it in our economy when it comes to the income we have. The so-called American dream is exactly that, a dream. We go off and fight their wars and you come back and you have no rights. Right now is a very important time in the history of the United States, and it's no time to be mollycoddling this president who has the opportunity, regardless, to stand up, and he's got 6 months to do everything that he can to make sure that our rights will not be infringed upon. And if he doesn't do it, we already know what the other guy's going to do. We already know what those so-called far-right Christians are, because I hear them in the church talking about woke. It's like when I hear it, next time they do it, I'm going to raise my hand. I say, what do you mean by woke? So no, they don't mean the same thing that I do. So we have to start calling them out. And they think we're stupid. And one of the things that I've noticed, they love to spit in my face and in my hand. And I've seen it, and I'm a retired teacher for the past 40 years. That's one of the biggest enjoyment is to be disrespectful. And because boy, you're a boy. That's what they think. Talk to you later. God bless.
Thank you, Brother Mike.
All right.
Thank you, Brother Mike.
Great. Let's bring it. We got another caller, Brother BJ?
Yes, sir. Brother Barney's on. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Barney. Go ahead and talk to Brother Abdul Haleem Muhammad.
Wow. Assalamu alaikum. Like a buttered biscuit, we got the great Brother Abdul Haleem Muhammad on the line. You know, it's always good when you hear scientists come together and review the formula. So it's so wonderful. Brother Haleem, I really appreciate you making that distinction. It was a great distinction about the so-called Jews. And I think what we could do is we want to do, as the minister always say, words matter. We really need to start the new narrative so that when we want to say Jews, we should either say so-called Jews, the Zionists, so that we can begin to get our people to start understanding there is a difference, so that we won't get caught up in the Jews. We'll, the so-called Jew or the Zionists, so that we'll know the difference. So I like the way you made that distinction for the people. He also talked about the condition of the money, and I already noticed that they began to change how they're going to use this money. I was going on the one site to order something. They said, now you got to issue credits. I said, credits? So they're already beginning this adjustment that they're going to take us out of the dollar. So I wanted us to be able to deal with that. And the final, I think the brother was mentioning, he also mentioned, we were talking about selective enrollment in schools, that the selective enrollment schools, they're taken out. And I remember 10-10-15, the minister wanted the Justice Party so that we can begin to work behind what Brother Abdul Haleem is saying in terms of how we're going to do this policy formulation for the the Muslim program. So I thank you, brother. I'm just sitting here just listening to you. I appreciate what you're doing. Finally, for July 4th, let the people know. Everybody hooping and hollering about reparations, white folks saying I don't owe reparations. We need to focus on the state-sponsored terrorism, which is the United States government that sponsored the slave trade. So that means that government is in existence today. So white folks won't be able to duck and dodge. If you support this government, you support the same state that was a state-sponsored terrorism of the slave trade. So I wanted to end with that, brother. May Allah bless you.
Hey,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Barney. Brother Haleem is interesting in terms of what Brother Barney said and what the brother said before him. Because the brother before him, he's not talking political personality. He wasn't talking emotional sympathy. Talking about making demands before any vote is cast. Before any vote is cast. And I think that we as a people have really got to get that understanding.
Exactly.
What is our agenda and how do we pursue it?
There you go. Well, look, brother, you remember in the build up to the Million Family March, we put together a national agenda.
Right.
You see, everybody goes to Congress. There are people lined up at their door that are lobbyists. And they come in and they really have legislation already drafted asking them to support it. I mean, come on, man. You know, the Representative Massey out of Kentucky said that AIPAC, they have babysitters. We call them babysitters, man. That they come around and they tell them how to vote, this, that, and the other. This is one of the only men in Congress that I know of that votes against foreign aid, even for Israel. He said, man, I'm not voting for that. And they came after him in his race, but he spanked them so bad. Now he's talking strong. But to the first brother's call, the Christian brother, thank you, brother, because the truth of the matter is that though, we're Muslims and our book is the Holy Quran, the truth of the matter is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us Islam out of the Bible because our people were Christian.
Yeah.
So in the book of Revelations, in the 13th chapter, the 9th, 10th verse, it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And so this mystery Babylon that's talked about in the 17th chapter of the Bible. What mystery Babylon? What are you talking about? Babylon over in Iraq, the Tigris Euphrates rivers is gone. It's been gone. Hell, the mystery Babylon is America and the system that she set up post-World War II. She was the only industrialized nation that hadn't been destroyed during the World War II. Europe was absolutely wiped out. Asia was wiped out. America, at the Bretton Woods Conference, set up the World Trade Organization, made the dollar the reserve currency of the world. The British pound had fell. The Dutch guilder had fell. Right? All of these currencies were gone. So the American dollar is how you trade. American dollar is used in sanctions against these foreign countries. But now the global South is rebelling against all of that. They said, well, what the heck? No. We're not going for that. Who's independent? It's our independence when we decide to exercise our human and our divine rights. That was civil rights. Civil rights, we don't got no civil rights. Civil rights is whatever they feel they are anytime the legislature and the president wants to sign it. You're afraid of Trump? I'm not afraid of Trump. God, do you think the God does not look? America is the greatest economic power, military power that's been here in the last 6,000 years. You think God doesn't have a hand in who gets in the White House?
Come on.
You think that God does not have his hand on Joe Biden? You think he doesn't have his hand on Donald Trump? America is being brought to the precipice of the pit of hell because she will not repent for what she did to us, the Native American, the Mexican that she stole half the country from in the Southwest, and her own poor white people that are being bamboozled, hoodwinked, and took right now. They're blaming us for their condition. And look how sick this country is. When Mr. Biden was the senator, he pushed through that law, the law, man, that locked up generations. Let me tell you something, brothers. In my 37 years of ministry in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, beloved, listen, I traveled to every level of federal prison with the exception of Leavenworth and Supermax in Colorado. And I've seen our brothers locked up, man. A whole 2 generations lost.
Right.
And understand when you talk about Larry Hoover, when you're talking about Jeff Fort, when you're talking about Jamil Al-Amin, H. Rap Brown, you're talking about these people are natural leaders, right? And when you take the gangster disciples and now they talk about growth and development, man, they gave the man more life terms because he turned the thing around. They know the power of these brothers. Chief Malik, and they know the power of these brothers, man. I've been all in them federal from not Leavenworth, but Lewisburg. Oh my God, from Lewisburg down to Club Feds. I've taught in every level of the federal prison and in state jails and in the state prisons here in Texas and in Arkansas and death row. But I've been a spiritual advisor to 2 death row inmates. I've witnessed 2 executions. Man, I'm telling you something. This system ain't worth a damn.
Right.
And anybody that believes that this thing is going to change after 250 years of America or 500 years that we've been in our feet been in the shores of North America, almost 500, 460 plus years. Do you think something's going to change? And do you think that these people are going to stop scapegoating us? See, the minister said in Torchlight that leadership does not want to admit. They hide the truth, and they don't want to admit what they've done. So they scapegoat. They're scapegoating the people coming through the border. But nobody wants to talk about how America, through gunboat diplomacy, has actually destroyed the economy and the political and social life in Central and South America and the Caribbean. Why are these people coming here? How is Haiti in the condition that it's in, man? It was the first black republic in this hemisphere, and this the only country I ever heard of that won a war and had to pay the people that they beat reparations.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Wake up, brothers and sisters. What the hell they doing to Cuba? Yeah. What are they doing? And now that the Caribbean Hurricane Beryl is tearing up the Caribbean, watch this low down, do nothing Congress, do nothing to help those people in there. See, brothers and sisters, we got to wake up. In Africa, the people in Africa, these young coup leaders that pulling these coups in Mali, the new president of Senegal, you looking at that brother that's in Burkina Faso, man, these boys is kicking the French out, kicking the Americans out, inviting the Russians in. I mean, bro, look, South Africa filed in the International Court of Justice the genocide case against Israel, and all the other countries are joining in, and now they recognize a Palestinian state. Look here, everything that the minister told us is coming to pass. Brothers and sisters, I urge you to go on noimedia.org and listen to those speeches, The Unraveling of a Great Nation, Jesus is the Key, Criterion Announcement to the World, The Swan Song, The War of Armageddon has begun, and what did Allah, the great Mahdi, the great Messiah, have to say about the war in the Middle East? Everything the minister told us. He told us that Netanyahu knew what was getting ready to go down, and it's coming out, not out of the New York Times, not out of the New York Post, but out of the Jerusalem Post and Haaretz newspaper over there. Them people know that this, and he's trying to start a war with Hezbollah in Iran so he could stay in office, man. Look here, the minister warned them, and Mr. Biden, how you let this man slap you around like that? How you let Netanyahu do you like that? See, that's above my pay grade. So it's not for me to speak to them. All I'm going to tell you is what the minister said. Because the minister was given this vision, man. He was given the information. And what he said, everything is manifesting itself right now. Brothers and sisters, my appeal to you is that not to be involved in the fantastic foolishness of firecrackers and I got a day off. I want you to take a day of reflection and understand that God has come to declare you to be free. And he's raised for you a man from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that has taught and trained and sacrificed for 40 long years to lay the foundation for a nation. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in the absence of this teacher for 47 years, beloved, has rebuilt what no other group has ever come back. Even though Islam is a world, you can't tell me not one other group that's ever come back from what was destroyed and come back and recaptured its prominence. And who is the number one enemy of the Zionists and the so-called Jews? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And right now, what if right now you're watching the scriptures playing itself out, brothers and sisters? They intend to crucify Minister Farrakhan. First, you crucify his character, and then you come after him and what he loves. And I say to the Nation of Islam and to the brothers and sisters that support the nation, man, must Jesus bear the cross alone and all the world go free? No, there's a cross for everyone. There's a cross for you and me. And the Jesus of the scripture says, if any man would be my disciple, he must first deny himself, pick up his cross, and follow me. So there's a cross for you and me, brother and sister. And what is your cross? And lastly, I say to you, Mr. Farrakhan taught a lecture in Atlanta. He said, blessed is the man or woman who discovers their purpose and fulfills it. Our purpose is not to be perpetual slaves, tools for this world. The coming of Master Fard Muhammad, the appearance of Master Fard Muhammad is to declare you to be no longer the tail but the head. No longer the bottom rail, he's raising you to the top. And no longer will you ever be the follower. It's time for you now to lead the world. As you led the world in the George Floyd piece, and now the whole world is going to follow you, brothers and sisters, as they follow our hip-hop artists. And what we got to do is now get the culture vultures off of our great hip-hop artists and our artists and shake it loose, man, and bring peace in our community. And let's fill up Soldier Field with our black people, our black youth from across the country, and let's call an end to this gangbanging and killing one another so that we can be what the scripture says in Ezekiel. We can rise up and be an exceedingly great army.
Go ahead.
Brothers and sisters, you've been hearing from Abdul Haleem Muhammad, Student Regional Minister, Southwest Region, who is with us from Houston. Brother Haleem, how can people follow you? How can they get more of this that you've given out, man?
Well, I mean, on Twitter, I'm Dots Connector. I don't have any more room on Facebook, but they can look me up. But on Instagram, A. Haleem Muhammad. A. Haleem Muhammad. They go Haleem Muhammad. And I'm that on TikTok, too. Another thing on TikTok. Yeah, man, there's another thing on TikTok, man. The Chinese got our information. Hell, man, imagine now, but I did something stupid down here. I sprayed a synagogue or something. These crackers excuse me. These people in the media would have everything I've ever liked on Facebook.
Absolutely.
TikTok, they already got our information. What?
Absolutely.
Right. Brothers and sisters, stop falling for the banana and the tailpipe. This new definition of anti-Semitism is to stop you from criticizing Israel. They are real anti-Semites out there. They are people who actually hate the Jews, and we should never let anybody, as Muslims, we will give our life to defend the synagogue. I want to put that on the record. Any place that the name of God is raised up, we're not going to let it be defiled. That is the mandate from the Holy Quran. All right? So let's squash that. We respect the Jews, we respect our Christian brothers and sisters, but we got to call it like we see it. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Brother BJ. Thank you, Brother Naba'a, and thank you, Brother James, and thank you, WVON. This is one black man's opinion. What's yours? I'm Brother Dr. Abdul Haleem Muhammad.
Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Go ahead.
Brothers and sisters, look, that's you only get that with straight words, man.
That's right.
So if you want to keep straight words on the air, you need to go right now to our website, and you need to give some money to help, or text 312-480-9775. Straight words, we're at the top of the hour.